All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Hakwadash, giving double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Peace and salutations to the Akim and the brethren out there on the highways and byways, pushing this truth with 100% sincerity. And peace and salutations to the few and sincere sisters who believe in this gospel. All right, so I want to entitle this lesson, The Sound of Battle is in the Land, right? And primarily I want to speak on, particular situations that's going on in the world right now. One being which the capture or kidnapping or whatever you may want to call it of Nicolas Maduro, who was the former president of Venezuela, right? Basically, what I want to speak on is just the different things that are leading up to prophecy, the different things that are happening right now in this world that are leading up to prophecy being fulfilled and prophetic things happening in the world right now, right? Because now we're at the time where things are, just happening at a fast pace. Things are happening at a very fast pace. And, in 2026 could very well be a year where we see, a lot of global conflicts escalate. Because we got a lot of global conflicts going on right now, but we can see the escalation of things, right? Not only the escalation of these global conflicts, we could also see the escalation of the NWO being pushed. We can also see the escalation of the MOTB coming to pass too. So there's a lot of things that we can see happen here in 2026. I believe I was watching the Elder Apostle Gabar and Bishop Sakaran, they're live earlier today. And I believe one of the brothers up there in the main camp said something to the effect that Trump said, hey, I hope y'all enjoy this Christmas because this is going to be the last Merry Christmas that y'all have, right? I got to look that up, but, I don't believe that brothers will be making that up. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, man, things are going to escalate. Things are going to get very, very heated in the coming future, the very near coming future, right? So let's go here to Jeremiah chapter 28 and verse 8, and it reads, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesy both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence, right? So here at GMS, Great Millstone, we're coming in the spirit of those old prophets, right? Prophets like Jeremiah, prophets like Isaiah, prophets like Zephaniah, right? Coming in the spirit of prophesying down or prophesying the downfall of this kingdom, aka Babylon the Great, aka the United States of America, right? That's the spirit that we're coming in, right? To speak on and one, to watch, because as a prophet, you're a watchman and you got to watch the things that are going on here in the world, and you got to report on these things and filter them through the scriptures. And that's what we do. That's what a prophet is supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? So we're looking at these things and these events that are going on right now, and we are breaking them down and filtering them through the scriptures, right? So this is something that, we've been doing for years. The elders have been doing for decades, and we're going to continue to do this until we see these things come to pass, right? Which we are seeing these things come to pass too, right? Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 22, it reads, a sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? right? The hammer of the whole earth is who? Esau, Edom. How did they take over the earth? Right, this through this nation, through this country, Babylon, aka the United States. That's how Esau has imperialized majority of the world, right? And they're looking to continue to imperialize the rest of the world, right? As much as they can, as it says in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 5. It says, "He is a proud man and keepeth not at home," right? "And heapeth unto himself many people." That's just what he does. He can't stay in the land where he's supposed to be. He's got to go to this land or that land. You know what I'm saying? To this people, to this people, to that people, this nation and that nation, and he's got to conquer them. He's got to conquer them, make them his subjects, take their land, take their resources. You know what I'm saying? That's mainly what these things are about. It's mainly what these things are about, is taking over different lands that have valuable resources so that they can profit off of and control different trade routes, different future industries. Because one of the big things that they're trying to do, they're trying to make sure, Babylon is trying to make sure that they're one of the first to have a great foothold on AI, right? So they want to go to these countries like Nigeria, for example, and this is how this devil does. This devil funds, different groups to create conflicts in different countries, and then they come in acting like they're the saviors. You know what I'm saying? When in actuality, they're just coming in to overthrow the government, right? And put their own puppet, put their own paid off person into their
Please sign
into the government to fit their agenda. You know what I'm saying? Which, is usually taking over the resources of that particular land, right? So it's the same old thing. Verse 24 says, "I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. The Lord hath opened his armory, and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah of hosts, in the land of the Chaldeans," right? And this is the modern day land of the Chaldeans, Babylon the Great, America. And the Lord is going to unleash his wrath against Babylon the Great very soon, and the rest of this world too, right? Mainly for what they've done to his people, his chosen people, right? So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. There's the book of Joel, chapter 3 and verse 1, and it reads, "For behold, in those days and in that time I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, or Jehoshaphat, and I will plead with them for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land," right? Because you got those, tiny toppers, them you wish, tub stopper cap folks in the Holy Land, or in the portion of the Holy Land right now, because, the land of Yasha Allah is much bigger than that, from the Nile to the Euphrates. It's much bigger than the small section that they're inhabiting right now. But the Lord is going to bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, bring all of the heathen nations, right? For what? World War III. And what is Jehoshaphat? It's Yahweh's judgment, right? That's what Jehosha which is really Yahweh, and Shaphat or Shaphat is judgment, right? So Yahweh's judgment, right? They're gonna go into the valley of Yahweh's judgment, which is World War III, which is gonna leave, you know, it's gonna be a lot of bloodshed in World War III, right? In the Valley of Decision or Valley of Yahweh Shaphat, right? This is the book of Revelation, chapter 16 and verse 15. It says, "Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked, and they see his shame. And he gathered them together in a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon or Armageddon, right? Armageddon in the Paleo Hebrew, right? But again, this is going into World War III. This is going into World War III. This conflict, man, that we see that these things are going on, right? All of this is going to translate into WW3. And also the main people who are going to lead the nations into WW3 is who? Amalek, right? And this is let me go here. Yeah, 50 and 45. Salaki, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50. I'm going to start at 44. It says, "Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan unto the habitation of the strong, but I will make them suddenly run away from her. And who is a chosen man, that I may appoint over her? For who is like me? And who will appoint me the time? And who is the shepherd that will stand before me? Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord, that he have taken against Babylon, and his purposes, that he have purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them," right? The least of the flock, which is Amalek, the Jewish people, right? Who inhabit that land right now. They're gonna draw out the entire world in the World War III, because Babylon, right? Babylon is really what we're learning now. Babylon is really now just an extension of the nation state of Israel, because they do all of the bidding of these people. You know what I'm saying? They do all of their bidding. You know, and all of this funding and all this stuff that's going on from the taxpayers of Babylon to that country. You know what I'm saying? They're heavily invested in doing the bidding of the Jewish people, the tiny toppers, right? Where's this all going to lead to? Because the end of World War III is going to be what? It says, "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up," right? So it says what? The elements. It says the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. What's that fervent heat going to come from? ICBM nuclear missiles. Which that land over there, right? The Holy Land is going to be bombarded with ICBM nuclear missiles, just as well as Babylon the Great here in America is going to be bombarded with ICBM nuclear missiles, right? Because what? The nations are going to turn on Babylon, and they're going to side with the bear, Russia, because the beast is going to grow tired of the whore, right? The beast being the EU, NATO nations, and the whore being America. And they're going to get tired of the whore, America, and they're going to unleash fire on the whore. They're going to burn the whore with fire. Yeah, this is Revelation chapter 17. And I'm going to say start at verse 14. And it reads, "These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is Lord of lords and King of kings. And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. And he saith unto me, The waters which thou seest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire." Right? That fire is going to come from ICBM nuclear missiles. Right? It's inevitable for Babylon the Great to be destroyed by this type of judgment. You know what I'm saying? It's an inevitable thing. Right? So look, man, Lord willing, this video lesson, giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Chakwadash. Until next time.